Hello all! Imagine a bustling marketplace, but instead of silks and spices, it trades in tanks and missiles. This is the global arms market, a place where billions of dollars change hands every year. This world is shrouded in secrecy. It operates outside the normal rules of business. It is a world where profits are put before people. This is the hidden reality of the global arms trade. The global arms trade is a vast and complex network. It involves governments, corporations and individuals. This trade fuels conflicts around the world. It destabilizes regions and undermines democracy. The arms trade has devastating consequences for human rights and global security. Understanding this trade is crucial. We must understand its history, its mechanics and its impact. Only then can we hope to control it. The arms trade is as old as warfare itself. In ancient times, blacksmiths forged swords for local rulers. Merchants traded armor and weapons across empires. The Romans built vast arsenals to equip their legions. These early arms makers and traders laid the foundation for a global industry. One of the earliest examples of large-scale arms production is the Venetian Arsenal. Created in the 12th century, this massive shipyard built warships for the Venetian Republic. The arsenal was a marvel of engineering and organization. It employed thousands of workers and produced ships with remarkable efficiency. The Venetian Arsenal is a testament to the long and lucrative history of the arms trade. The 20th century saw the rise of the military-industrial complex. This term, coined by President Eisenhower, describes the close relationship between governments and arms manufacturers. This relationship creates a powerful incentive for continuous military spending. World War II solidified the power of the military-industrial complex. The conflict created an insatiable demand for weapons. This led to the growth of huge arms corporations. These companies profited greatly from the war. After the war, they lobbied hard to maintain high levels of military spending. This influence continues to shape government policy today. It perpetuates the cycle of arms production and conflict. The modern arms trade is characterized by secrecy and a lack of transparency. Governments often use black budgets to conceal arms deals from public scrutiny. This lack of transparency creates opportunities for corruption. Defense contracts are often awarded through a process rife with bribery and kickbacks. This corruption inflates the price of weapons. It diverts funds from essential services. It undermines good governance. The lack of transparency in arms deals makes it difficult to hold anyone accountable. This allows unethical practices to flourish. Beyond the official deals, a vast black market for weapons exists. This illicit trade thrives in regions with weak governance and ongoing conflicts. Small arms, ammunition and explosives are smuggled across borders. They end up in the hands of criminals, terrorists and militias. The Iran-Contra affair is a prime example of the illicit arms trade. This scandal involved the secret sale of weapons to Iran by the US government in the 1980s. These sales violated a US arms embargo. They funded anti-government rebels in Nicaragua. The scandal showed how easily the arms trade can be manipulated for political purposes. It also highlighted the dangers of covert operations and the lack of oversight. Another alarming trend is the increasing privatization of war. Private military companies, or PMCs, are now major players in conflicts worldwide. These companies provide a range of services. This includes security, training, and logistical support. PMCs were heavily involved in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. They were often contracted to guard facilities, train local forces, and even participate in combat operations. The use of PMCs raises serious ethical and legal questions. They operate with little oversight. They are not subject to the same rules of engagement as regular soldiers. The privatization of war further blurs the lines of accountability in armed conflict. Technology is rapidly transforming the nature of warfare. Drones, autonomous weapons systems, and cyber weapons are changing the face of battle. These technologies raise new ethical and strategic challenges. Drones, for example, allow for remote warfare. This removes soldiers from direct combat. However, it also raises concerns about civilian casualties and the lack of accountability. Autonomous weapons systems powered by artificial intelligence have the potential to make life or death decisions without human intervention. This raises profound ethical questions about the role of machines in warfare. The increasing reliance on technology in warfare has the potential to make conflict more unpredictable and potentially more devastating. The arms trade has significant economic implications. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It provides jobs and generates revenue for governments and corporations. However, this economic activity comes at a high cost. Military spending diverts resources from essential services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The arms race between nations can lead to a dangerous escalation of tensions. This can create a climate of fear and distrust. This makes conflict more likely. The economic benefits of the arms trade are often outweighed by its negative consequences for human security and global stability. Ultimately, the arms trade is about more than just profits and geopolitics. It is about people. It is about the human cost of conflict. Weapons fuel violence, they cause death and destruction. They tear apart families and communities. The arms trade profits from human suffering. Every bullet fired, every bomb dropped represents a failure of humanity. We must never forget the human cost of this trade. We must work towards a world where peace and diplomacy, not weapons, are the tools of international relations. The global arms trade is a complex and challenging issue. There is no easy solution. However, there are steps that can be taken to regulate the trade and reduce its negative impacts. International treaties like the Arms Trade Treaty aim to establish common standards for the international trade in conventional arms. Strengthening export controls and promoting transparency in arms deals can help prevent weapons from falling into the wrong hands. Investing in diplomacy, conflict prevention and peace-building efforts is crucial to addressing the root causes of armed conflict. The path to a more peaceful world requires a fundamental shift in our thinking. We must move away from the logic of militarism and embrace a culture of peace. Thanks for joining me on this historical journey. If you enjoyed this trip back in time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more fascinating history bites. Until next time, keep exploring.